What if everything you were taught about being a good person was designed to keep you weak? What if the people around you aren't stupid? They're just playing a different game. One where kindness is currency and ignorance is power. This isn't about intelligence. This is about how dangerous your intelligence can become. And if you're still here, Machiavelli has something to show you. You've been conditioned to believe that being good makes you safe, that honesty wins respect, that being fair brings you peace. But here's the first truth Machiavelli whispers from history. It is far safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Machiavelli didn't preach cruelty. He preached clarity. The kind of cold clarity that burns away illusions. In a world where people are governed by fear, envy, and self-interest, he taught, do not think like prey. Most people are walking through life trying not to offend. You're going to learn how to pierce through deception and become unreadable. People don't respond to who you are. They respond to what you appear to be. In a world that moves based on surface-level interactions, perception is everything. What others think of you shapes how they treat you, how they respect you, and ultimately, how they value you. You want to be dangerously smart. Control how you're perceived. Machiavelli understood that everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are beneath the surface. If you can master this dynamic, you hold the key to power. Here's your edge. Never be predictable. Predictability is weakness. The moment you're predictable, you're easier to control, easier to manipulate. Mask your intentions. Keep your real motives hidden under layers of neutrality, ambiguity, or calculated confusion. When they think they know what you're doing, they stop watching, they stop reacting, and they stop fearing you. Keep them on their toes. Mirror their expectations. Reflect their own behaviors, but remain mysterious. By doing this, you hold power over them because they'll always be trying to figure you out. When the time is right, when they least expect it, that's when you strike, and they'll never see it coming. If you let people label you, they control the game. Labels are easy ways for people to classify you, box you into a simple category they can handle. But labels are also traps. If you control the narrative, however, you become the game. The game isn't just about reacting or fighting. It's about setting the rules. When you are the one defining the narrative, you no longer need to fight to prove yourself. You simply control the context in which you exist. This is how you disappear in plain sight. You can move through life without drawing attention, while everyone else is distracted by your mirage. This power comes from the fact that no one can predict your next move, making you an enigmatic force no one can control. This ability to mold perception also applies in social dynamics. People will often project their assumptions onto you, trying to box you in or simplify who you are for their own comfort. Don't let them. Instead, adapt your presence to match their needs, showing them what they expect, while keeping your true self behind closed doors. In doing this, you become unreadably living mystery, and that mystery breeds power. By controlling how others see you, you control how they react. The moment you let go of needing to explain yourself or feeling the pressure to prove your worth, you take back control. You become more than just another person. They can no longer easily figure you out. And that, more than anything else, is what makes you untouchable. Emotion is a weapon, but only if you're the one pulling the trigger. Do you know what makes you easy to manipulate? Needing validation? Reacting emotionally. Being desperate to be understood. Emotions are raw, unpredictable forces that can either empower you or leave you vulnerable. When you allow your emotions to control you, others can easily manipulate the course of your actions. People who can't control their reactions are like puppets. The strings are pulled by whoever is in control of their emotional triggers. Here's what dangerously smart people understand. Control your reactions, and you control outcomes. Imagine someone insults you. Most will fire back, defend, react impulsively. They'll try to protect their ego, to show they won't be disrespected. But when you don't react, when you stay calm and observe, you put the power in your hands. The more someone wants a reaction from you, the more power you hold by staying silent. And that silence, that emotional distance, is the most profound form of control. It's not just about ignoring the person or pretending they don't exist. It's about mastering the emotional distance that allows you to remain unmoved by their attempts to provoke you. Machiavelli didn't suggest you suppress your emotions. He didn't believe in becoming emotionless or detached in a way that weakens you. What he advised was far more effective, weaponizing your emotions. The wise man does at once what the fool does by pretending to be unaffected. But where the fool reacts emotionally, the wise man remains still, calculated, watching the world unfold with a cool head. The true power lies in waiting, in letting others expose their weaknesses while you bide your time, studying the situation from a distance. This ability to manage emotions is an art that few master. The dangerous person is not someone who lacks emotions, but someone who uses their emotions strategically. They know when to show warmth, when to show aggression, when to use charm, and when to use distance. They don't allow themselves to be swayed by the fleeting emotions of the moment, but instead make those emotions work for them, giving them the upper hand. In practical terms, think of it like a negotiation. When someone tries to push you into a decision with an emotional appeal, maybe, they try to guilt trip you or make you feel bad, most people will cave under the pressure, driven by their emotions. But the cold, logical person can stand firm. They'll listen, observe, and in doing so, they remain in control of the situation. They will use that emotional plea to gather more information, to read the person's weakness, and then use that knowledge to their advantage when the time is right. When you stop reacting emotionally, you don't just stop showing your cards. You stop allowing others to influence you. You stop giving them control over how you feel, how you respond, and ultimately, how you behave. This is what sets you apart from everyone else. Where others are driven by the fleeting moments of frustration, anger, or joy, you rise above. You become strategic, knowing that the best decisions are made when emotions are at a distance, when you're seeing clearly. You no longer let the storm inside dictate your actions. Instead, you become the calm, the force that waits for the right moment to strike. This isn't to say that you should become cold or unfeeling. It's about knowing. That power comes from knowing how to control your reactions. When you control your emotional responses, you control the narrative. You become unreadable, unpredictable, and powerful. And as Machiavelli taught, it is in this unpredictability, this mastery over emotion, that your true strength lies. Intelligence is not what you know, it's what you hide. Everyone wants to sound smart, but Machiavelli would laugh at your need to be right. He would say, "He who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived." True intelligence isn't in what you show, it's in what you choose not to reveal. The more you expose, the less valuable you become. The more you reveal about yourself, the easier it is for others to figure you out. And once they figure you out, they control you. True power lies in mystery. What you hide creates an aura of strength, of depth, and of complexity. Want to win in a room full of people? Say less. Let others expose their motives, their fears, their ego. Be quiet and become the one no one can figure out. That's when they start fearing you. That's when they start respecting you. When people can't read you, they begin to overestimate you. The quieter you are, the more intriguing you become. The less you give, the more they wonder. And in this constant guessing game, they lose their power over you. They're left trying to unlock the mystery of who you really are. Think about it. How often do you engage in conversations where you feel the need to prove something, to make your intelligence known? How often do you speak up just to show you're informed, capable, or smarter than others? The reality is, when you do this, you're diminishing your value. By speaking freely and offering your thoughts all the time, you invite others to dissect and judge you. The more they know, the less they respect. But when you remain silent, or only share bits and pieces of what's necessary, you leave them wanting more. They can't dissect what they don't know, and this creates a sense of power, as though you're holding all the cards. True intelligence, as Machiavelli understood, is about mastering the art of discretion. It's about withholding your full thoughts and emotions until the moment is right. It's knowing that every word you speak and every action you take must have purpose and meaning, not just for the sake of showing off your brilliance. Sometimes, silence is the most intelligent move you can make. In a meeting, in a conversation, or in a tense situation. Speaking less and letting others expose their weaknesses and vulnerabilities allows you to see the full picture. This is strategic. The more you withhold, the more you learn. And the more you learn, the more control you gain over those around you. It's not just about saying less. It's about revealing only what's necessary to achieve your goal. Imagine you're in a conversation where everyone is trying to prove their expertise. The one who talks the most may seem the smartest, but they're also the one who makes themselves vulnerable. They expose themselves to the scrutiny of others, leaving themselves open to attack. The person who says little, who only offers the bare minimum of information, creates an air of mystery and control. They remain untouchable, impossible to predict. And that unpredictability, that complexity, is what gives them the upper hand. This strategy also works in relationships. Think about how often people share everything with others, believing that being open and transparent is a sign of trust or intelligence. But the truth is, the more you share, the more you risk losing control. The more you expose your vulnerabilities, the more power you give to others over you. In contrast, by holding back just enough, by revealing only what serves you and keeping the rest concealed, you make others work harder to understand you. They begin to see you as an enigma, as someone who is much more complex than they first imagined. And in their quest to understand you, they end up respecting you more. Not for what you've shown, but for what you've kept hidden. Machiavelli's insight into intelligence was simple. It's not about showing off how much you know, but about creating an aura of being beyond understanding. This level of control requires patience, discipline, and the ability to walk away from the need for constant validation. It's knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. It's the ability to pull back and let others reveal themselves, while you sit back and wait for the right moment to make your move. And when you do speak, when you do reveal something, it should be impactful, calculated, deliberate, and designed to further your position, not to prove a point. This is the true nature of intelligence. It's not about being the loudest voice in the room or constantly showing off your knowledge. It's about knowing that your true value comes from the things you choose not to say, the things you keep hidden. It's about wielding silence like a weapon and using discretion as your shield. When you master this, you become untouchable. You become the one people can't figure out, and that's where real power lies.